Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. This is Ozark Living. Today's video, do this before moving to the Ozarks. Let's check it out. All right, hey guys, my name is Scott, and if this is your first time visiting the channel, welcome and thank you. And while you're here, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button along with that notification bell, because every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm dropping a new video telling you everything you need to know about moving to or living in Lake of the Ozarks. We're also a group of licensed lenders and agents, so as much as I love making these videos, I would love more to help you with your lending or real estate needs. So that number popping up below, I am the guy who answers the phone calls, the text messages, and the emails. If there's a question, a scenario, or just something I can do, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. And until then, we just want to talk about some things to do or do this before moving to the Ozarks. And probably nothing new here. Most of us know that, hey, if we don't live in a certain area and we're thinking about moving there, we're probably going to want to start with some research, right? And typically when we don't live there and we're not there, research starts online. And so we're typically gonna Google or watch YouTube videos or do some online searching to try to gather as much information as we can on the destination that we're trying to get to. And so in your research though, there's a couple of things to think about, and maybe just some tips or things to keep in mind, right? Is most of us, when we're looking from a distance, we start with maps and we start with pictures, and we kind of progress our way from there. And so if you're moving to the Ozarks and you're looking for, obviously lake life or to be close to it, or you like elbow space, you have your reasons for moving here. But if you know that your job or your work is going to be in a very specific area, then even if you're looking at it on a map, we want to be very careful about where do we work and where do we live, okay? And the prime example, we've talked about it a lot before on this channel, is Osage Beach, right? It's where the majority of things are, a lot of retail stuff, hospital, stuff like that. So if you're working in Osage and you're just looking at a map and maybe looking at homes on a map, and you see something that's on the other side of the water and it looks like it could be a short drive or a short distance, and we'll pull up a map right now and you see that bridge that goes across the water and it looks like it's really easy to dump into Osage. Well, that's true. That bridge is very easy to cross and it's a very easy commute. However, that is a toll bridge, right? So every time you cross that toll bridge, you're going to pay $2 or $3 depending on peak season or off season. Regardless, that's a cost that you may not know or you may not have understood if you weren't here permanently or already lived in the area. And so that toll bridge is going to cost you. So we got to be cautious of potentially purchasing or looking at homes from a distance and having an agent open up doors and show properties and take videos. And it looks like it's an easy commute to work until you realize when you get here that that property has to cross that toll bridge. And the only other way around is to go across Hurricane Deck, back up through Camdenton, and all of a sudden your commute is 45 minutes to an hour. So we got to do our research. We got to explore. We got to look at maps. We got to look at pictures. But hey, let's just think about, why are we moving down here? And when we are here, where do we need to be if it is for work purposes, right? So for work, I have to be here, okay? We want to create a search radius around that job, but we got to be mindful of where are we on the lake with that job, and then where is our home, and how easy is that commute to get from home to work, right? We don't want to have that be too long of a drive. Another food for thought when we're thinking about purchasing a home, and a lot of the folks that we talk to, they don't live here, right? You're in surrounding states and you're doing your research, you're watching your videos, and you're looking at properties that look amazing online. They got amazing pictures. They show really well. All of that stuff is good. So back to work, if you don't have to be in a specific location, if you work remotely and your job you can work and do anywhere in the country, one thing to think about and consider is going to be Wi-Fi connection at the lake, okay? And so because we're in a rural area, depending on where you're at on the water is going to depend on whether or not you're going to have a Wi-Fi signal or not. Now, You can always get satellite Wi-Fi, and that's gonna probably work anywhere on the lake, but it might not work as fast. And I don't know if you have some sort of tech job or coding job or something where you gotta like video stream and it has to be really good reception and it has to be high speed. That's gonna be something to really wanna think about and consider, and for sure wanna get connected to some locals to understand like, all right, cool, I love that home, I love the location. What do you know about the Wi-Fi companies, or what are the internet companies that are available in that area? And then do we like those, and do we think that they're gonna work? There are a few obviously around the lake, and obviously there's gonna be those satellite companies as well. But if you need to have a hard wire from the street into your house, then you're gonna wanna make sure that you not only do the research on the home and the things you like, but you're gonna wanna talk to some locals, right? And make sure that they're gonna have the Wi-Fi signal that you're gonna need in order to do the job that you need to do and for the reasons why you're moving down there. So food for thought, something to think about, gonna have a good Wi-Fi signal. Another thing to think about and consider when you're coming down here and you're researching and you're looking at pictures and you're checking out the surrounding areas. If you look real closely, you'll probably again realize it's a mountainous area, a lot of hills, a lot of forest. There's a lot of curvy, windy, hilly roads, and you might not see a lot of that from just pictures and looking at maps and things online. But that's going to be something you're definitely going to want to think about and try to uncover that. If you're not comfortable driving in a mountainous kind of area and dealing with really curvy roads and steep roads pretty much anywhere around the lake, then I don't know, it's just food for thought, right? And not everybody is that way, but it is a factor for some. And I know that, when we go down there, I have no problem driving in those areas, but my wife does, and she doesn't enjoy it, and she'll rarely drive. She just doesn't like to. She doesn't feel as comfortable. We also have a really steep driveway that comes into our property, and she doesn't even feel comfortable pulling, the truck down into the garage. So she always parks up top and then makes me drive down. But that is a food for thought. That's something to think about. And, if you're not comfortable, or maybe you get queasy and a little bit of road sickness, like you might not want to move here. At least, again, you're going to want to try to uncover that stone and figure out if that's going to work for you or not. Does for some, doesn't for others. But you got to realize when you're coming down here that this is not going to be a gridded, patterned, easy kind of structure to get around. Everything is going to be windy and curvy and hilly and gravel, and it's going to test your limits. And don't go too fast because you're going to have to brake really hard, or else you might go down the hill and into the lake. Who knows? Probably not going to happen. But hey, when you're researching it from a distance, those are things that you really can't see and you don't really know. So think about that, see if that's going to work for you. And then that kind of leads into my next step. That is something to think about and consider. Then take a trip, right? And obviously just come down and visit. And then when you're going to do a visit to the lake, you got to think about, again, let's maximize our visit. So, hey, do we have to be in a certain area for work? Okay, cool. We might want to grab an Airbnb or a hotel or something in that area so we know what it feels like. All right, great. We also want to do that search radius to figure out around there, where would we potentially want to live? And then we're going to want to go spend time in those areas. You could probably set up some showings, and we can go out there and open up some doors, get a feel for different parts of the lake, different parts of the waterway, right? We have folks that want to be a lakefront property or a second or third tier home, and they want to be on the big body of the water, which means they want big, massive views. They want to be able to see everything. Super cool, right? And those are breathtaking views that you get to wake up to and go to bed with every single night. So I understand that attraction. There's other people that want to have that lake view, but they don't want to be on the big body of water. They want to be inside of a cove and a little bit more protected from the chop and the waves and the congestion of the big water. And so, if you come into the cove a little bit, like, cool, there's still, a lake out back and there's still water, but you're not going to maybe have those big views. You might just have, homes on the other side of the cove that you might look at. And so maybe you find the best of both worlds. And our property down there is right like on the end of a cove before the big water. So you kind of look this way, you get the big water, you look that way, you get down the cove. And whatever it is that you're thinking about, right, you have to kind of take a trip down here and get a feel for it. And that's where we would love to obviously come into play. We can show you around the lake in different areas. We can visit different restaurants and retail stuff within that area to make sure that you have your needs there. Figure out where you're going to work. If there's a specific place, then we want to probably spend a little time around work. And if you're remote, then yeah, you just want to try to come down and get a feel for what part of this lake or what part of this area is going to feel the best for you. Like, where do you fit in, and where do you feel like you're going to best be able to create the community probably that you're looking for. And probably the last thing to think about, or just my last maybe do this before coming down and in some of your research is just exploring the cost and affordability of different options that you have at the lake, right? And not everybody needs that lake life. And once the dock out back, it's obviously a big draw and attraction. So, hey, what would that look like if I need, 4-bed or 3-bath and a dock and everything out back, and I want to be on this part of the lake, and here's my price point and my affordability? Cool, right? We're lenders, so we can do some reverse math. We can help work with you on your budget, and we can figure out like, cool, hey, here's your affordability. So let's set up your search radius and your price criteria based on your payment comfortability. And then we can start to pinpoint very specific properties that would be conducive for you on different parts of the water, right? And we know, we've done previous videos, go through those map tour videos, that you kind of start at the top part of the lake, the head, the neck, the belly of the dragon. It's going to be probably a little bit of the higher price point homes. And then as you start to move away into the legs and the tail of the dragon, then obviously you're going to have a little bit less or a suppressed price point. Okay, so again, moving further away also means there's going to be less amenities and things, and maybe a longer travel time to get to where you need to be. And so that's all part of doing it, right? That's the research that we have to do. Okay, we're going to start online. We're going to Google, we're going to YouTube, we're going to, gather as much information as we possibly can. And then we got to slowly start to get connected. And hey, what do we need to be down here for? Cool. Or is there a specific location that we have to be at? We got to think about where do we want the home in regards to that location. Do we have to cross that toll bridge? That'll catch people off guard if you have to cross that toll bridge. And then, hey, if we are looking at homes, let's utilize that real estate agent and understand like, cool, I need Wi-Fi and I need it strong and I need it fast and I can't have any breaks. We got to know what Wi-Fi or what internet companies are available at that property. No joke, that might make or break it, or just cell phone signal in general. Sometimes it's hard to get cell phone signals around the lake, and if you have to be plugged in and you have to be ready to go, like in my job, I can't go anywhere without a cell signal and without Wi-Fi signal. It drives my wife crazy, but hey babe, it is what it is. And so those are things to think about and consider. Hey, we got to start talking about price point and comfortability. Where on the lake does it work for what I'm looking for? And then explore a little bit. Come down and visit and go to certain parts of the lake. Get off the lake a little bit. Go check out some open space or some land. And there's a lot of options and choices when you come to lakefront properties, second and third tier homes, or again, off lake properties that you can just drive in and have access to the lake. So a lot of things to think about and consider, but you got to do some of this stuff obviously before you make that transition. And again, we say it all the time, we're licensed lenders and agents. I love making these videos, but I love more to help you with those lending and real estate needs. So that number popping up below, I am the guy who answers the phone calls, the text messages, and the emails. If I can help you in your research, help connect some dots, or just be a resource for you, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. And until the next video, we'll see you then. Bye.